What the going on this team, Jerry?
Bury him! Bury him!
Jerry, TJ Watt.
He is the best defensive player on the planet.
Go! Yes! Yes! We're going to fire! Steelers fans! Bang! Run it down their throat!
No! That's not a penalty!
Game over! Game over! Don't ask me to do nothing! This is nothing!
He's aggressive.
Hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Steel Here podcast, where I'm your host, Kevin Adams, alongside my partner in crime, Jersey, Jerry. Jerry Don, it is week 10. It is already week 10 of the NFL season. Pittsburgh Steelers sit at 5-3. They're about to embark on a really hard run of football coming off of a huge win against the Colts. Trade deadline came to pass yesterday. You were adamant that they were going to make a move. Mike Tomlin goes into his press conference and has this shitty little grin on his face where he says, I like shopping, leads the whole fan base to be in a frenzy on Twitter, thinking maybe they make a move and 4 p.m. comes to pass and they don't do shit. Not that I'm incredibly upset about it. It's confusing for a team that you thought was more all in than they're really showing to be. But if there's one bright spot, they finally announced today that they are going to bring in Asante Samuel Jr. for a look here next Wednesday. I mean, you had to have been a little bit devastated to not make a move at the deadline, though.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they were. I mean, I really thought there was a chance that they were making calls for like Garrett Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I really thought they could possibly be doing, because I figured they looked at it like, hey, we're gonna go all in. We don't have to draft a receiver next year. If we go out and get one now, let's get one that could possibly be familiar with Rodgers, would want to play with Rodgers. Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers got along pretty well. I don't think there was any reports ever that they were on bad terms. But even if it wasn't Garrett Wilson, I thought they were still going to go get somebody, a big name, something. They did nothing, which I was very surprised. And everybody's convinced that they're just drafting a quarterback in the first round next year. I don't know what team in the NFL you're going to give a couple threes and a couple fours and you're going to trade up with your friend. Like, I don't know why everybody thinks that.
Jerry, that was the biggest argument on Twitter. Like, that's the number one thing that I heard, because I had a fucking meltdown. Like, I was pissed. If Tomlin's going to say something like, I like shopping, he's going to be that excited about it.
Yeah.
You know, and 4 o'clock pass and they don't do anything. I'm like, the fucking guy just likes window shopping. You know, I don't want to hear shopping.
Yeah, that's the thing. When he said that, I'm like, okay, I knew it. They're going to do something big. He had that grin on his face. I'm like, oh shit, I called it. I called this motherfucker.
All morning, you're hearing like Tom Pelissero, Adam Schefter, the Steelers are shopping hard. Like, they're being very aggressive at this deadline. They're looking to make moves, this, that, and the other. And then I think this is what really pissed me off about it. Late last night and then most of today, a lot of the beat writers, I'm not going to mention their names. If you're on Twitter, you know who I'm talking about. A lot of the Steelers beat writers are then saying, well, this team was never all in. So this just goes to show that they were never all in.
I don't get that.
I don't want to hear some shit like that, Jerry, because it's just bullshit. It's a terrible. That's you're backpedaling. You're carrying water for the team.
Oh my god. Sorry.
Where the fuck are you first and foremost, Jerry? Because I'm looking at neon lights. You're recording at the titty bar right now.
I can't figure out the lighting in my guest room. I'm having like a really bad problem with the lighting in the guest room. I don't even have I think that's better, but I don't have
much better.
Yeah, but I don't have I don't got a stand. I don't even the light. I can't figure out the lights, because if I do it too bright, we get the streak. Remember the streak?
Yes. Yeah.
So I gotta figure something out with this guest room, because my basement's not done. It's finished, but it's not done. I can't record upstairs because of the kids. The living room, there's nowhere for me to sit in the living room. Like I said, at the dining table, but like that's a bad look. So I have the guest room downstairs, and it's private. It's the kids are upstairs with my girl and whatnot. But I had to put. I thought the neon lights were going to be a good touch. No.
Oh, Jerry, you look like fucking Barney. You look like Barney with the purple tint on the face right now.
We'll come back next week and we'll figure out these lights.
Well, I mean, what I'm pissed about though is I don't want to hear them say they're not all in. If they're not all in, you don't give TJ a massive bag when he's already 31 years old. If you're not all in, you don't sign Aaron Rodgers to a 1-year deal. You don't trade a younger Minka and bring in a Jalen Ramsey, Jonnu Smith. You don't go out and then trade away for Duggar last week. If you're not all in, they've done a bunch of things that would tell us they're all in.
Yeah.
You know. So now that they just don't make a trade at the deadline, do you know what's funny about that though? Okay, so say they would have tried to get Jacoby, which, you know, every Schefter comes out and says the Steelers were the next closest team to landing Jacoby Myers. They didn't want to give up a 4 and a 6 for him. He ended up going for a 4 and a 6. He goes to the Jaguars. If the Steelers would have traded the 4 and the 6, you know, would that have then signaled they're all in? Because I don't think a 4 or a 6 is tanking your draft capital next year when you have 12 fucking picks in Pittsburgh.
No. And they're not going to draft 12 guys.
Well, that's the other thing, Jerry. You're not going to add 12 rookies to this team.
No.
So that draft capital, while on paper, it looks fucking awesome. You're not adding 12 rookies to this roster. And you hit on it as soon as we opened. To trade a 4th and a 6th is not going to do anything if you're trying to trade up for a quarterback.
No.
When do you ever see in the first round teams traded a 4th or a 6th round pick to move up? It's usually 1s, 2s, and 3s.
Yeah.
4th and 6th round picks are irrelevant to moving up to getting quarterbacks in the first round.
Yes.
So I don't want to fucking hear that shit.
Sometimes it's 2 firsts.
Exactly. So like 4th and 6th round picks, that's what you use it for. Now, sure, people push back and they're like, well, you got Nick Herbig, you got Darnell Washington, you got Mason McCormick, Calvin Austin. Those are all 4th round picks. You don't want to, you know, give those guys up on cheap rookie deals. I agree. I 100% love looking at it, you know, from the glass half full. But if we're being real about it, if this team is actually trying to win a Super Bowl this year, I can give up a 4th round pick for a Jacoby Myers who's 28 years old.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
if he's going to make a difference down the stretch here, I would have been fine giving up the 4th and the 6th. I think that they should have done it. I was honestly let down when I found out that was what the Jaguars ended up taking or giving up to the Raiders. You know, what are you going to do at this point? It's done. It's over. We have Marquez Valdez-Scantling now, Jerry. They finally signed him, and he said Rodgers was lobbying to bring him in. So hopefully Rodgers wanted that guy.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, obviously they got chemistry together. So, you know, hopefully he's a, you know, plug and play type of guy with Aaron. He's familiar with him. So, I mean, listen, we'll see what happens. I've said this on a couple different, you know, comments on different podcasts that I watched this week. This city better pray. I mean, they better pray one of our receivers don't go down, especially DK Metcalf. Yep. Because if that's the case, you're going to see the exact same thing that happened last year when George Pickens went down. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be really, really tough down the stretch. It's harder for us, you know, with the games we play and the teams we play. So this city better and this fan base better hope and pray that not a receiver gets hurt for the rest of the year, because if they do, it is going to be tough. The only thing I can say is this offense is really revolving around the tight ends, but still, you need your weapons on the outside. You have to have them.
Especially because now we're getting to the point in the season where attrition is starting to take a toll. Like teams are just, injuries are starting to fucking mount. When you look at the Steelers, you know, today's Wednesday, we're recording around 11 p.m. Wednesday night. The Steelers, this is the injury report through today. Scotty Miller didn't practice, finger injury. Will Howard was a full participant. Chuck Clark, full participant. Hope we don't have to see Chuck Clark. Corey Trice Jr., Jerry. Corey Trice Jr., it might just be time to pull the plug on that.
Yeah, I feel. Dude, you listen, I mean, you know what's crazy is every time I think of Corey Trice, I go back to that dinner we had with Kenny. And, you know, Kenny was talking about how everybody's talking about Joey Porter Jr. Nobody's talking about Corey Trice. He's a fucking dog. It's just the guy just couldn't get in a rhythm, could never stay healthy. Could never stay healthy. And he should have been, you know, if it wasn't for the injuries, he would have been drafted way, way, way earlier in that draft. But, you know, it sucks because he has so much potential. You know, those long arms, he's big, he's tall. It sucks, man. I feel bad for him. I really do. It just can't stay healthy, man. I mean, I wish him well. Who knows how long this injury is going to last, but, you know, I hope to see Corey Trice again. You know, if not, I think that's kind of just it. I think that this was his last chance.
Jerry, you remember when the Steelers took a guy named Senquez Golson in the second round? This
Yes. What a nightmare.
16, just never played, never even got on the field. At least Corey Trice played, a game or two.
Yeah.
Corey Trice, you hit the nail on the head. So much potential. He had injury issues dating back to college. I mean, ACL. He's been injured, every year. He's just never healthy in the NFL. Some guys, man, their body just cannot hold up to the beating. He practiced one day and got hurt in his very first game.
I know. It sucks, dude. It fucking sucks. I was looking forward to him this year, too.
Hell yeah, man press coverage. We thought that was going to be another young guy that could play man press coverage. And it would be nice because now looking at what the Steelers are doing on the back end, this is going to be another week. Tomlin said that Jalen Ramsey will play the safety spot. Great news. I think Jalen Ramsey is a dog at the safety spot. I think that's where his career at this point should flourish. Down the stretch here, he played fucking great against the Colts out of that safety spot. The bad news associated with that is then our cornerbacks are Joey Porter Jr., Brandon Eccles, Darius Slay.
Yeah.
And so I don't, Jerry. I think Darius Slay is the biggest weakness on this defense.
By far.
That's why you need Asante Samuel Jr. If they bring him in Wednesday, you got to do whatever it takes to keep him in the building.
The problem is he might not make it till Wednesday next week.
But why? So a lot of people have said that. They're like, he'll sign with somebody before he gets there, which is very possible. But also, why is he going to take that? Why even schedule it if he's not going to come to Pittsburgh? And I don't think that the Steelers are the type of team that he's going to blow off either. So we're going to find out. Is Mike Tomlin, the great salesman and can pitch any player to come play on his team? And that's what we hear. He's a great recruiter to come play there. We need him this time because I think if you can keep Jalen Ramsey in that safety spot and you can keep Darius Slay off the field, if you can bring Asante Samuel Jr. in, I feel a lot more confident in that defense. Circling back to what we were saying after the Colts win, I think it's going to come down to whether or not we can rush the passer and get the pass rush home. If the secondary can cover their guys long enough, we can really make an impact. I think if you can get a guy to like Asante Samuel, you have the ability to do that. Then you have the ability for the pass rush to eat.
Yeah, man. Slay he's just not it, man. He's just not it this year. They're continuously playing him. He doesn't look good. Just the game, is just, listen, he's done a lot of good in a lot of the years he's played, man. I think he even won a defensive player of the year, didn't he?
What's up, guys? Just want to take a quick second to shout out our friends over at TickPick. You guys see me at the games. You see the seats that I have, the experiences that I get to enjoy, and that's all because of TickPick. If you're looking on the secondary market for tickets to a Steelers game and you're not using TickPick, you're honestly probably paying more than you should have to. There are no fees. It's upfront pricing, and you can use code STEELERS20 for $20 off your first order of game tickets. They're the best in the game, in my opinion, and I want you guys to be able to take advantage of how good their product is. So use TickPick moving forward. Let's get back to the episode. I don't know if he won a deploy. I think he'd be a much hotter player if he might have won a Rookie of the Year.
Maybe something. I feel like he won an award or something. I could be wrong, but dude, yeah. I mean, he's a tough watch, man. He's a tough watch on defense. It's just continuously. He's not even a penalty. He doesn't even have any penalties really. It's just he just gets cooked out there. He just gets fucking cooked nonstop. He doesn't have the speed no more. And he's just, he's slow, man. He's slow. So, a lot less of him, I would hope. But listen, Tomlin's been playing him, so.
It's a bad week for him to have a bad week, though.
Oh, yeah.
You're playing the number one passing offense in football in this Chargers game.
Yeah.
And they aired out. I mean, you're looking at Justin Herbert. He's leading the league in touchdown passes. Now, Rodgers is fucking third in touchdown passes, Jerry. He has 17 touchdown passes, which you said that last week. And I'm like, no way. Oh, yeah, he's in third with 17 touchdown passes, which is absolutely incredible to see. But Herbert is number one, and their offense is a wagon.
Yeah.
I think I'm almost more worried about the Chargers offense than I was the Colts offense, just because I think Herbert is significantly better quarterback than Daniel Jones is.
I do too. I think Herbert is better for sure. I would agree with that. They got a lot of weapons, man. They got that rookie too, tight end who's unreal. He is unreal. He came out of nowhere too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, and that's another one of those. We have to worry about tight ends again this week. They just need to follow whatever the game plan was that they had last week. I thought was a great game plan. And you heard the guys say after the game, they just simplified it. They made it a lot more read and react. It was a lot less, complicated scheme. Mm-hmm. And they look like they played significantly better football that way. They also played a lot more zone, a lot less man coverage.
Yeah.
I think we want them to play man coverage because we think that that's what it's going to take to beat the Jamar Chases and the T. Higgins of the world. I just don't know if the Steelers have the personnel to do it. They're going to have to go back to letting the pass rush win for them and hoping that the secondary just holds on as long as they possibly can.
Yeah, that's what they gotta transition to that, man, because man wasn't it. Man wasn't it. They were getting cooked nonstop out there. I mean, they still gave up a million yards last week, but it was just, in garbage time, really, when, they're just playing defense and not let them score a touchdown. They're giving them everything underneath and over the middle and whatnot. But, I could live with that. It's just this week's a tough test, man. It's a tough test. They got a lot of weapons, that Chargers offense. The only bright spot for this defensive line is there's no Joe Alt. Joe Alt is done for the year. So, I mean, sucks for the Chargers if you're a Chargers fan. But, I mean, if you're the Steelers D-line, man, Herbert gets pressured the most. He gets hit the most. He could be in for a long night, Herbert. He could.
Jerry, they have the worst statistically. They have the worst offensive line in football. He is getting rushed almost every time he drops back.
Yeah.
Losing Joe Alt is huge, though. I came across a stat that's pretty interesting. In games where the Chargers, Joe Alt either leaves the game with an injury or just doesn't play at all. Week 4 against the Giants, they lost 21-18. Week 5 to the Commanders, they lost 27-10. Week 6 against the Dolphins, they barely won 29-27. Those are 3 not very good football teams this year. Okay, so they're squeaking it out. On paper, at 6-3, Chargers look like a wagon, and they have this great offense. They have a pretty decent defense, but they're squeaking by these teams. They got blown out by the Colts, 38-24, and we just manhandled the Colts. And they barely beat the Titans, who also aren't good, 27-20. So without Joe Alt, that is not a very good offensive line. No. Even with Joe Alt, they weren't a very good offensive line. Yeah. The Steelers' pass rush needs to dominate this week. Cam Hayward needs to have another game right in the middle of that defense.
Yeah, he does, man. He does. That defensive line gotta, stay the course like you did last week. Get your hands up. Herbert's gonna try to get the ball out quick. I feel like they're gonna try to follow a similar Packers and Bengals game plan. Especially with a dinged up offensive line. You're gonna probably see him get the ball out early this Sunday night. So, listen, defense gotta step it up. And listen, the offense. While we have been scoring and whatnot, they're really not running the ball great, man. They're
terrible, actually. Terrible. We're not a very good running team.
I would love to see a game where they just grind it out, man. Just grind them out and, keep the ball. Long drives. We haven't really had a bunch of those long drives this year. I would like to see a couple long drives. Keep that Chargers defense on the field. The ball away from Herbert. I would love to see the running game get going a little bit. I think Fautanu's having a really fucking good year right now, man. Really good. Really impressed with him. Offensive line has stepped up big time the last couple of weeks. I will say that.
Without a doubt. Let me read you the PFF. Now, again, we're not big PFF fans, but we'll read you what their grades were for that Colts game. Samalo 86.7, Frazier 84.2, McCormick 83.1, Fautanu 80.5, Broderick Jones 64.7. Broderick's still struggling a little bit, and he struggles with guys who get right up in his body. Yeah. And this is starting to become something that you can see now. If a guy gets right up on him, he kind of gets bullied right back into Rodgers, and then you'll see Rodgers leak out to the right side. Rodgers can feel it, which is great, that he still has the ability to feel that pressure, but he's definitely the weak link still on that offensive line. But, Jerry, you couldn't say it any better. Troy Fautanu was a dog. I mean, he is 100% a home run, slam dunk pick. He's everything you would have hoped Broderick Jones would have been. It would have been nice if Fautanu didn't get hurt last year and you could have him with a year under his belt. But my God, man, he is pretty fucking good.
Yeah, I mean, he's dominating edge rushers, man. I mean, just dominating. I go back to Rodgers and that he's such a veteran. It's that one rush that Micah had on him. I think it was right over Broderick Jones maybe, or the inside of him, I forget. But, Rodgers, Micah barely is going to, strip the ball, and Rodgers gets it out, and Micah's like, "What the fuck? How'd you know I was right there?" He's like, "The crowd. I heard the crowd." It's just like a veteran fucking move, man. So I'm very impressed with Rodgers as well. Last couple weeks, getting out of the pocket when he needs to. There's nothing really bad you can say about Rodgers up to this point in the year. All good things. Sure, he's had a couple turnovers, here and there, but nothing crazy.
That's normal. Quarterback turn the ball over. That's not a problem.
He's got fucking 17 touchdown passes, right?
Exactly, Jerry. If you'd have told me at the halfway point in the season that Aaron Rodgers would have 17 touchdown passes, I'm thinking this team is a fucking wagon. And if the defense can turn the corner, and this is going to be one of those games where, all right, was the Colts win a fluky win because they have 6 takeaways? Possibly. We'll find out. That's the best part. We're going to find out this week now. Yeah. Can this team sustain it? Can they win a game when you don't have a ton of takeaways? Can you win a game with 1 takeaway? But there are things that they still do that are very concerning defensively. And that's why you still need Rodgers to punch the ball in. We're going to have to still finish drives. You're going to have to get 7, not 3. We're going to say that the whole season, I fear, because this defense is still bend, don't break, and they bend a lot. Yeah. Even in that Colts game, Jerry, it feels like 3rd and 30, they might give that fucker up. They give up a ton of long 3rd downs and then a ton of 4th downs.
And they give up a lot of yards on 1st down, man. A lot of yards.
We're still the 30th ranked defense in football, even after that game. So, the only thing that makes them look somewhat respectable is when they have the big games with the big takeaways. Because other than that, they don't get off the field very well. They don't get off the field on 3rd down nearly at all. That stat now, remember, it was 40% on 3rd and 7 going into that Colts game. It's now 44% on 3rd and 7 or longer. They give up a 1st down.
Oh my God!
It's getting
almost half the time is bad.
Yes, it's not getting better. It's getting worse. And so that's going to come down to, that's going to have to be something that we have to fucking figure out on 3rd and longs, figuring out how to get off the field, keep them in front of you, because you're going to continue to play high scoring offenses and good quarterbacks, and you're going to want to get off the field on 3rd down. That's the biggest thing for me, man. If they can do that, if they can genuinely turn the corner on that, I'll believe in them, because they're averaging 25.5 points offensively, and that's leaving things on the table. Yeah. I feel like they left a touchdown at least on the table in that Colts game. And so, a lot of the people hit us back after we recorded that episode, and they're like, I'm not a believer yet. I'm not a believer because you have 6 takeaways and you win by a touchdown. A lot of that was garbage time, though.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of that Colts scoring in that game was garbage time touchdowns. And, you have the bad turnover at the end of the game by Roman Wilson that let them score there at the end. But I thought that they dominated the game for the most part. Yes, I would have loved to see 30 when you have 6 takeaways. No doubt about it.
I would have loved it. I mean, they would have loved it. And they should have, man. They fucking should have. But listen, all that pretty much, Daniel Jones, I feel like the last, the 4th quarter, they were pretty much dead, the Colts. And he threw for over 100 yards easily in the 4th quarter alone, So a lot of that was garbage time. They were just giving up everything underneath and whatnot. But if this defense can keep that game plan, getting their hands up as well is massive. There was a bunch of tip passes that game, which we haven't seen in a couple of weeks. If they could do that to Herbert, we're going to have pretty much the home field advantage. We know that. Oh, yeah. We could really grind this game out, man. We could win this game. I know we're dogs again, but we could win this game.
This is a big one for me. This is, you want me to buy back in, I need to see them win this game. And I've really started to throttle myself down and not try and talk myself into it. But I do think that they're going to win. The only concern that I have is there are a lot of things that go against the Steelers in this game. They're 4-6 in their last 10 games on Sunday Night Football, and they're 6-9 in their last 15 games on Sunday Night Football.
Isn't that crazy? We used to, I remember growing up as a kid, we would just dominate prime time. Mm-hmm. Dominate it. And just these stats, we're coming up with Thursday Night Football, Sunday night. It's crazy how just within a decade, it's just totally flipped.
We're a better 1:00 football team. That's 1:00 football. That's our football. If you're putting it in the 4:00 time slot or Thursday or Sunday night, we don't play well. Thankfully, we still have the Monday night streak going, knock on wood. I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves on that, but you got to go to what works, and I think a lot of that is going to come back down to Darnell Washington.
Yeah.
Jerry, he has 41 snaps in that game.
Look at that.
That goes to 8-0 record, 111 rushing yards per game we average, 9 rushing touchdowns, and we're outscoring our opponents 199 to 139 when he averages 40 or more snaps. I don't know what the fuck. I just give him 40 until that doesn't work at this point. What's up, guys? Just want to take a quick break to shout out our friends at Pond Lee Hockey, the new official sponsor of the Steel Here podcast. And they want to let you know that when life hits you hard, you need a team that fights for you just as hard as your favorite players. That's Pond Lee Hockey, Pittsburgh's largest work injury firm. They specialize in winning injury and workers' compensation cases and are ready to go to battle for every dollar you deserve. From start to finish, they're with you every step of the way. And the first step, a free consultation. No strings, just answers. If you've been hurt at work or in an accident, call Pond Lee Hockey today. Now let's get back to the episode.
Yeah, we got to get that information in front of Art. We got to tell him that stat. I mean, I hope he knows that stat. I mean, we got to get it in front of him.
That's huge. I mean, he is the dark horse in what makes this offense run. And, you know, you've said it, they're starting to really use him. He's getting all sorts of targets now. He had 8 targets in that football game. That's more than DK Metcalf is getting, Jerry.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. I mean, I'm not complaining. I love it. I mean, I love watching him get the ball, you know, especially if he's somewhat in open space. It's just fun to see him run, how big he is. You know, no one guy's not getting him down ever.
Never.
You know, so it's just fun. And you know what's funny is that one stat that popped up on the screen a couple weeks ago is like Darnell Washington, 300 plus pounds. It didn't even give a number.
Yeah, they're not even close to the accurate number, just 300 and the plus sign.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've heard, you know, that it's well over 300.
I mean, he's a monster. And that's why when they drafted him and he fell to the 4th round, coming out of Georgia, he was a monster his last year at Georgia. They win the national championship. He was a wagon there, but he had the knee issues. They said he has 2 bad knees. He'll never play a long career. And I text you, I'm like, I don't give a shit if he doesn't play a long career. If you get 5-6 years out of that guy, he's going to have a great career in 5-6 years.
Oh, yeah.
And he is already, like, again, knock on wood, he's pretty fucking healthy. Like, we don't deal with a lot of issues when it comes to his health so far. So continue to pump him. The only thing that means then, though, is one man is the odd man out. And Jonnu Smith might be the odd man out as far as the tight ends are concerned. Pat's now getting his. Pat's scoring. They're looking to him in the red zone. Mm-hmm. Darnell is pretty much their go-to. He's playing like tight end 1 for them. Jonnu almost doesn't have a role at this point.
I know, which is very weird because I felt like when we got him, it's like, oh, shit, I think they're going to – you know, I think Pat might be the odd man out because we knew they were going to use Darnell Washington a bunch this year. But now that's kind of shifting. You know, earlier in the year it was Jonnu, and now it's like shifting towards Pat and Darnell now. So, I mean, maybe it's just Art Smith just switching it up a little bit. I don't know. But, you know, it seems to be working right now, you know, using Pat a bunch.
Jerry, I'm going to read you. So we're through 9 games. Steelers have played 9 games. I'm going to read you the statistical differential that they've had through 9 games because this is why I say I don't know who they are as a football team yet. When you hear these stats, it will make sense. They're getting outgained by 765 yards against their opponents. They've had 108 less offensive plays. They've had 49 less first downs, 13 less third down conversions, 14 less fourth down conversions. They average about a half a yard less per play. However, in the overall points total, they've outscored by 7 points, and they're up +9 on the takeaways. That +9 on the takeaways is who the Pittsburgh Steelers are.
Yeah, that's exactly who they are. If they're going to take the ball away, they're going to win. If they don't, they're not going to win.
Just live and die with the takeaways. That's 100% what they've been so far. Now, can they fix it? Maybe if Ramsey can hold down the back end a little bit better and you can get some better cornerback play and you play zone, you know, maybe it can look a little bit different. How much better? I don't know. I have no idea, but it's those types of stats are not sustainable, you know, through the entire course of a year.
No.
Play is not going to win you playoff games. That's not going to win you games in late December when you're playing the best teams in football down our schedule. They're going to have to improve defensively. There's just no other way around that.
No, I mean, could you imagine if they were like +1 in the turnover category? I mean,
I'd have 3 wins.
Yeah, you might have 3. You might have fucking 2 wins. Crazy.
right? You probably don't beat the Patriots.
No.
You probably don't beat the Colts. That's
No.
two right there. You're at 3 wins at that point right there.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing for me, man. I want to hang my hat on it and get excited, but then I really look deep into that game and it's like they're gonna have to get better. They still have to get better. 3rd down and 4th down, they're gonna have to get better. Short run down and distances, they're gonna have to get better there because they give up a lot of those short run downs.
Mm-hmm.
The Chargers, I mean, let's look at the Chargers stats. They give up 21.4 points per game. They have the 6th overall defense. The Steelers have the 30th overall defense. They have the most passing yards in football a game at 270. They're 10th in rushing yards at 124 rushing yards per game, but they only average 23.9 points per game, which is 17th. So they just don't finish in the red zone. That's the issue with the Chargers. If the Steelers can keep them out of the red zone yet again this weekend, we'll have a chance. We average more points than them a game. You have to think maybe we get one takeaway that should, flip the field for us. I think if we can get to 27, I think we have a pretty good chance at winning this game because of what you said earlier. It's going to pretty much feel like a home game for the Steelers. I've been to LA. I've been to Chargers games in LA. I've been to Rams games in LA. Steelers fans dominate that. And I saw on TickPick today, they said more than 51% of the tickets have been sold to people from Pittsburgh. Wow. So at least 50% of the stadium, the way it looks right now, is going to be Steelers fans. So it's going to be loud. You're going to be able to have to put him on the to put Herbert on the silent count. The defense it has to fucking win us this game on Sunday, and then we can walk away from it saying, all right, maybe they are doing something. Maybe they're turning the corner because you're not doing it against Browns and rookie quarterbacks now. You've done it against a wagon in the Colts, and then you will have done it against the Chargers. Then I think we can be pretty optimistic. About that.
Yeah. If they could beat these two teams, these two really, I mean, they're not just like average teams. They're pretty fucking good teams. If we could beat these two good teams, back to back, one home, one away, I feel pretty good. Sitting at 6-3, top of the division, control of the division. And, the Ravens don't have an easy game this week either. I mean, they don't have an easy game by no means. They could lose that game.
That's the thing. We need the Ravens to just trip up one more time. They trip up one more time and we split with them. We can win the division at 10 wins.
Yeah, I agree.
That's a big part of it. Jerry, at the halfway point, who would your offensive MVP be?
Honestly, for how we're using him, probably Darnell Washington.
He's pretty fucking incredible. I have to go with Aaron Rodgers. I think Rodgers is easily the offensive MVP. Without him, to me, MVP means if you don't have that guy, you're fucking cooked. Are you going to win games? I think Rodgers does a lot of things that makes up for how bad the offensive line was early, getting the ball out fast, reading defenses at the line of scrimmage, knowing when to take his shots, that type of stuff. It's got to be Rodgers for me, but defensively, I think you could give it to a few guys. Who would you put the defensive MVP?
I'd probably give it to Ramsey right now.
Yep, that's my pick.
Yeah.
That's my pick. That's where it comes back to. If you lost a guy and you can't replace him, that's your MVP. If they don't have Ramsey, that secondary scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
So he's the glue that holds it down on that back end. And again, I circle back to whatever he said in that speech, Jerry, rallied them, because I have heard 4 different players now say that, and Joey Porter Jr. was the one that I just heard this morning saying it. He's like, when Ramsey gave us that speech, it brought our swagger back. It made us walk with an attitude again. How could he say the things that he said and then us go out there and not be fired up to play for him? I still would love to hear what he said. And the more they talk about it, Jerry, it's just so he whatever the fuck he said and the way that this guy carries himself is a lot different than I thought we were going to get from him. I used to hate Jalen Ramsey when he played for the Jaguars.
Hated him.
Thought he was a huge dick sucker. I'm like, God, I hate this guy. He's so arrogant. And now it's like, he's just one of those guys. When he's on your team, you love him. Yeah. When he's not on your team, you hate him. I love that he plays for the Steelers, man. He would definitely be my defensive MVP.
Me too. I would love to have him for a couple more years, man. I really would.
At a safety spot, I think he can be a lot more impactful. If he did lose a step and you put him at safety, it still lets him do the things that he's best at: reading and reacting, running downhill, keeping the game in front of him.
Yeah,
and
I think that's the best thing with him. I think that's the best thing is instincts, man. I feel like that's the best thing about him.
Yes, I think that's a very big part of his game, and putting him at safety, you could see a resurrection in the second half of his career here that I'm very intrigued to see, and I love that they're going to keep him there, especially because Duggar and he are only going to get better as this thing progresses. Jabril Peppers is dinged, so when Jabril comes back and he can get plugged back in there, I think you might be able to see then Jalen move around a little bit more into the cornerback spots. But for right now, it's safety. I think that's their best defense moving forward with him on the back end back there.
I do too. So Elliott is confirmed done for the year. Confirmed?
Well, see, that's the thing. Initially, Tomlin said week to week, and then they put him on IR. And I see Kaboli, friend of the show, he says that he's done for the year. I don't know how that means done for the year when he's on IR. They didn't say season-ending IR.
Yeah.
It just said IR, which is 4 weeks, and then you open his 21-day window. I don't know if there's a rule that we aren't familiar with that means that he's done for the year, but it sucks if it is. That really sucks because I would love to get him back at this point with Duggar back there, because Duggar really showed me that he still has some game.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, but that kind of like he got hurt. Everybody was talking about it, and then it kind of just went away. And like
they haven't heard about it.
I feel like Alan Saunders said he was done for the year, and then Kaboli's saying it, and now it's like, but nobody else has said that. And like Tomlin hasn't said that. Nobody has said season-ending IR.
And even when I Google it, it doesn't say season-ending IR. So I don't know what in the hell, we're missing on that. Or maybe they just misspoke and then they both misspoke and went with it from there. But, it's getting him back, I think, would be huge as well, just because you saw how much better the defense was when he was out there versus when he's not out there.
Yeah.
He's had just a tough year with the injuries, though, is the unfortunate part.
Yeah, he's a big piece of that defense. He really is.
Jared, what's your let's do predictions and we'll get into the betting. What do you think this game looks like?
I think this is going to be a low scoring game. I think I'm going to take 23-21 Steelers.
Ooh. That's a good one.
I think it's low scoring.
Over under is 45.5. So you would be right around on that number.
Mm-hmm.
The Steelers are +3. The money line is +140. So Steelers are road dogs. I am going to go 27-24. I'm going to go 27-24. I just think that, again, our offense is just still too good for them to hold us down. I am worried about how well Herbert has been slinging the ball, and he does get the ball out quick too, which is he has to, given how bad his offensive line is. If the defensive line can handle their business, if TJ Watt can do what he did, Sunday, if he can continue to do what TJ Watt is doing, and there is one stat I want to read about TJ because I came across this today and it's wild. Since 2017, TJ Watt leads the league in forced fumbles with 35. Khalil Mack has 25. Myles Garrett has 21.
Wow.
I mean, he's damn near doubled up on third place Myles Garrett in terms of forced fumbles.
That's pretty crazy.
If he can get the one-on-ones, he is still so goddamn
good. I mean,
good.
He's beat every one-on-one this year so far. He's beat it.
They just have to continue giving him those. And it helps when the rest of the pass rush is getting home. When Highsmith is doing what Highsmith did on Sunday, and you have Sawyer getting pressure when he's in there, and Herbig is getting pressure, and Cam is winning his battles in the middle of the field, and Harmon is winning his battles. That is what we said would make the Steelers defense so lethal when they can't double TJ every single play, because then he's going to get in there and he's going to make a play. We ride him, and then we get pissed at him when he goes a couple of games without doing anything, but you get to see his flashes of greatness whenever he does have just a one-on-one pass rush. He's still so goddamn good. If you can get him moving Herbert around, Herbert will give you the ball. He does turn the ball over. He forces balls. He throws balls away early. I think that will be the difference in the game. 27-24, I am going to take the Steelers. I think they can get this thing rolling at this point. That'd be a big one coming home. Then you have the Bengals.
Yep. Then the Bears. Yep.
Little revenge game. See how things go there. I think that could be something nice for us. Let's look at the betting. So on the season, Jerry Don is now 5-6. Last week, he took Jaylen Warren anytime touchdown. That cashed. He also took DK, since Jerry won his one bet the week before. He got 2 bets this past week. He took DK over 60. That did not hit. Mm-hmm. So he was 1-1 last week. He's now 5-6 on the season. I took Rodgers over 2 passing touchdowns. Feels like he could have had fucking 7 in that game. Ended up with just 1. I'm 3-6 on the year. I really, really need to get some fucking wins going, or I'm going to owe Jerry front row seats yet again to a game next season. Like I said, Jerry, the line on DraftKings Sportsbook is the Steelers +3. The over-under is 45.5. The money line is +140. We each get one bet this week. What is your bet going to be?
I'm going to take the under 45.5 this week. I think it's a low-scoring game Sunday night.
That's going to be an interesting one. I'm going to take Rodgers over 2 passing touchdowns again. He's -107. I think it was a little bit fluky that Jaylen Warren had 2 rushing touchdowns, just because, like you said, it feels like it's been forever since Jaylen Warren has had rushing touchdowns. He just doesn't get the ball a ton inside the 5. It feels like we are much more of a passing team inside the 5.
Yeah, they throw a lot inside the 5, a lot.
They do, but can you blame them? We have a great red zone offense, and it's Rodgers. He makes good decisions inside the red zone. So can't blame him. I appreciate that they're letting him throw the ball inside of that zone. You want to put the ball in your best player's hands. I want to see it in Aaron Rodgers' hands. I'm taking the over 2 passing touchdowns. It's got to hit this week. I might ride that bet every fucking week now until it cashes, just because it's going to be due. Jerry, it has been an incredible episode. Is there anything else you want to discuss?
No, dude. Appreciate the support on the pod. You know, people commenting, liking, subscribing means a lot to us. You know, we tried to be more.
Another 100 subs, Jerry.
Yeah, dude. You know, we just tried to be more consistent this year with the 2 episodes a week. It seems like that's working out. So yeah, dude, keep liking, keep subscribing, commenting. Helps the algorithm out a lot. So, you know, appreciate you guys. If it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be doing this show. So, you know, hats off to you guys.
Absolutely. We appreciate it. I will be in LA this weekend, Jerry. I am leaving Saturday morning. I get into LA around 11 a.m. Los Angeles time. We'll be having a little tailgate. We'll be in the Pink Lot. So if you guys are looking for it, go to the Pink Lot. You'll find us somewhere in that lot. We will record Sunday night. I'm going to take my laptop and such. I'll record at the hotel Sunday night. So it's only going to be like 8 o'clock my time, 9 o'clock in LA time, whatever it'll be. So we'll easily be able to record Sunday night.
Perfect.
We'll out to you guys on Monday like normal. So we appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you here next week.
See you next week.
Later, Jerry.
We're here. We're still here.
We are still here.